I decided to expand my appeal to the Ooni of Ife to leave the Igbo people alone by talking more about what the Ooni of Ife is trying to do, intentionally and deliberately, because I don't want to pretend that he doesn't know what he's doing. What he's doing is so obvious. The Ooni of Ife is trying to assimilate the Igbo people. He is dreaming that he will assimilate the Igbo people. That is why he's inventing history. He knows that none of his ancestors mentioned that the Igbos were in Yoruba land. The Igbos were not in Yoruba land, and the Yorubas were not in Igbo land. I met both grandparents. If Nigeria was not amalgamated, they wouldn't have known that the Yoruba people exist. But the Ooni of Ife, he has studied the Igbo people as every other person that is imperialistic who wants to expand study the Igbos, and they notice the fatal weakness of the Igbo people. The Igbo people, since they were decultured, have lost total interest in their own culture. Because of that, they do not see the clear differences between themselves and other peoples. If the Igbos are aware of who they were, or who they still are, if they are looking at their culture, even the few people who ran to Ife after hearing that the Ooni said that the Igbos were at Ife, they call themselves traditional rulers. If they knew anything about Igbo traditions, they would have seen that the traditions of the Igbo and the traditions of the Yoruba are as different as the traditions of any group in Nigeria and the traditions of the Eskimo. But Igbos don't pay attention to their culture today, so they assume that whatever they do as culture is what others do. A tragedy. This is a tragedy. The Ooni wants to expand his empire. He is not aware that we have left the times where you can acquire or assimilate other peoples. And he's thinking that the best way to expand is to assimilate the Igbo people. And of course, there are many Igbos who are opportunistic, who will be thinking that since the former Ooni of Ife, Olubuse Sijuade, was a billionaire, that this one is also a billionaire and is connected to the federal government of Nigeria, that they will be able to get contracts through him. So they would not feel rightly offended by this insult of insult, by this clear danger. In the Ooni's imagination, there are two major ethnic groups in Nigeria, Fulani and Yoruba, who should be assimilating the others. Since the Igbos are in since the original homeland of the Igbos is in southern Nigeria, he believes he has a natural right to assimilate the Igbos. I don't want to get into Yoruba history, it's not my job. Even though he will be surprised by what I know about the Yoruba history. But I prefer that the Yorubas discuss their origins themselves. Somebody has come to my timeline and the response to my first video said that the Yorubas are affiliated, are part and parcel of Judah. Every right-thinking Yoruba will be offended by this. The Yorubas don't have anything to do with the Israelites. And every right-thinking Yoruba will be offended by the assumption that they were, or by the claim that they were, because it's not based on any kind of truth. It is a suppression of the Yoruba identity. for something that the Yorubas are not. And that is what the Ooni is doing to the Igbos. So I want to use this opportunity to appeal to him again. Leave the Igbos alone. The Yorubas are a major ethnic group. Convince the Oyo that they were under Ife. Convince Lagos that it was under Ife. You have not done that. You know that they are laughing of Oyo does not accept that he's inferior in status to the Ooni of Ife. Why this interest in the Igbos? Are you interested in another genocide? Cultural this time? Ooni of Ife, please leave the Igbo people alone. I appeal, leave them alone. Move on. Move on. Move to other things. There are other things to be done. Thank you.